Howdy. Okay, thank you for coming to my talk, Failed Experiments in Vibe Coding. And thank you for coming to PyTexas 2026 here at the Central Library in beautiful Austin, Texas. I live in New York now, but I grew up in Texas, and my heart and my cell phone's area code will always be here in the Hill Country. Thanks to the many conference organizers and volunteers who make PyTexas not only possible, but also a delight. And thank you to all the sponsors who are picking up the tab. We really appreciate it. My name is Sweigart. I'm mostly known as the author of Automate the Boring. Oh, actually, I got ahead of myself. There's some housekeeping we need to do first. To the maximum extent permitted under law, this talk and its outputs are provided as is and as available without warranty of blah, 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 blah. Nobody reads these things. Let's just click OK. Is that all right with everyone? Yeah, let's just click OK. Howdy, I'm Sweigart. I'm mostly known as the author of Automate the Boring Stuff with Python, which is now in its 3rd edition, and there's also a companion workbook of practice exercises and projects available. I've also written a few other books. You can read them all for free online under a Creative Commons license at inventwithpython.com. And I'm writing a new book about learning to code in the era of AI. I like programming a computer to do things, and I like writing books that teach people to program computers to do things. And a lot of people have asked me, have you tried automating book writing? Gets funnier every time. But now we have large language models, so yes, I have tried automating book writing with large language models. Do my books contain the output of large language models? No. Quite the opposite, actually. Now, there's been a lot of writing about AI and a lot of writing about AI writing code. But first, a quick show of hands. How many people here have heard of AI? Oh, good. OK, I can skip the introductory slides then. Yeah, so a lot has been written about AI in the software industry, and a lot of it is incoherent. AI is going to replace all developers. No, wait, AI is only going to replace junior developers, but AI also lets junior developers work at the level of senior developers, but we won't need developers because developers will become testers, but also AI is going to replace testers. But no, AI won't replace developers. AI will be a productivity boost for developers of 2x or 10x or 20x. And some people think that AI will allow non-developers to develop software without learning how to code, and that's what I want to talk about here. If you don't know, vibe coding was coined by OpenAI co-founder Andrej Karpathy about 1.5 years ago. Now, I hate when speakers read text word for word off of their slides, but I kind of wanted to add a certain emphasis to this. There's a new kind of code I call vibe coding, where you fully give into the vibes, embrace exponentials, and forget that the code even exists. I ask for the dumbest things, like decrease the padding on the sidebar by half, because I'm too lazy to find it. I accept all always. I don't read the diffs anymore. When I get error messages, I just copy-paste them in with no comment. Usually, that fixes it. There's a scene from the movie The Big Short, which dramatizes the 2008 financial crash, where 3 of the characters say to each other, "I don't get it. Why are they confessing?" They're not confessing. They're bragging. He coined this term less than 1.5 years ago. In its original sense, vibe coding has the emphasis not on large language models producing code, but not even looking at the code at all. Now, of course, nobody's really vibe coding. I mean, that'd be reckless. We all know that AIs hallucinate. AI is just a productivity tool, and you always carefully inspect the output before you commit it to production. Yeah, so yeah, nobody's doing that. Nobody is vibe coding. They're agentic engineering, which was also coined by Andrej Karpathy. So agentic engineering is not vibe coding. It's using AI to write code in a responsible way. We live in silly times, don't we? So many people are saying very silly things, and yet they're being taken seriously. AI is new and no one knows what to think, so we just fall back on science fiction. Seriously, most people don't know what a large language model is. So just use Star Trek cliches, and that is literally what people imagine AI is. Most AI reporting does the both sides thing because nobody wants to be wrong, but they also want clicks. So the headlines are all sensational, but buried in the article is some backpedaling about like, AI has opportunities, but also concerns. What I want you to understand is that you can try this out for yourself. There's no super advanced secret model that the journalists and influencers have access to that you don't. You don't need to own a massive data center or spend $100,000 on tokens. You just have to have some curiosity and skepticism. James Randi, the amazing Randi, was a stage magician who spent the latter part of his life debunking psychics and frauds who claimed to have paranormal powers. Now, the problem with scientists trying to scientifically evaluate psychics is that psychics lie. You need a magician who knows the tricks, who knows how the misdirections work, who knows how the con works. And I feel like this is important for us as software developers because the trouble with vibe coding is the trouble with vibe coding is very similar to what James Randi faced. Chris Neubauer posted, "Is there a point to understanding things is the biggest question about software engineering in the last, oh, look at that, year and a half." There's a funny coincidence. No. I mean, if you need to use something, no, you don't have to really know how it works. I mean, I drive a car, but I can't build a car, and that's fine. Until the car breaks, and then I have to pop up the hood and understand how all the parts fit together. Or I take it to someone who does know how cars work, and that's fine too, because someone understands it. If you need to fix something, yes, there is a point to understanding things, and there are a lot of things that need fixing now. Whether because of rent-seeking or planned obsolescence or just enshittification, we're seeing just how important it is to have things like understanding and transparency and truth about our technology, especially when we think we have access to those things, but we actually don't. But anyway, enough philosophy. Let's take a look at some vibe coding experiments. I don't want to be a total downer, so here are some successes I've had with large language models. Okay, in ASCII art moonphase renderer, I have this run whenever I open a terminal window. I like how it gives me a nice little reminder to note the passage of time. I love Tkinter, the GUI toolkit that comes with Python. But oftentimes I just need like a grid of programmable buttons like those Stream Decks. So I had an LLM make ButtonPad, a GUI toolkit on top of Tkinter where you can spec out a grid of buttons or text fields using a multi-line Python string. Then I agentically engineered a bunch of tiny apps for ButtonPad. I made a flashcard app, and I made an AL-generated, AI-generated, procedurally generated art. You can look at, I'm running through these slides really quickly. You can check out these links from the slide deck later. There's just one problem with these vibe coding examples, and that's they're not actually vibe coding because I'm a software developer. I looked at the code, and then I popped up the hood, and I found things that needed to be fixed, and I knew where to look. I tried to find examples online of non-programmers who are using AI to create apps, like complete, accessible apps, the kind that you can find in an app store. We keep hearing about this is what AI can do. This was surprisingly hard, and I only managed to find about half a dozen that I could actually install and run. Most of them were barely apps, and I don't like to knock the efforts of beginners, but oftentimes it seems like what they needed was not in app. There was one that seemed like a solid vibe coding effort. The creator had some experience doing professional web development, but they didn't consider themselves a software engineer. He created like a small poker-themed Candy Crush kind of game and got it on the Apple App Store. The AI did all the coding and debugging. It still took him about 2 weeks full time to create it, but it is real, it exists. It was vibe coded. I played it. It's decent. But I wanted to see what I could do myself. I had a list of Python apps with Tkinter that I wanted to make, and not just the usual to-do list stuff. I wanted to kind of get a little esoteric. But first, I'm going to try to get in front of all the responses that inevitably come up. 100% of all responses to AI criticism always fall into one of these 4 categories. You didn't write the prompt right. Somewhere are the magic words that will cause the AI to make the thing you want it to make, and you did not say the magic words. The AI can never fail you, only you can fail the AI. Or of course the AI failed, because you're using an old model. That model is garbage. Have you used the new model? The new model is incredible. The new model can do anything. The new model doesn't have the problems of the old model. Well, okay, the new model does have problems, but they'll probably be fixed in like 5 years. AI is always getting better and will continue to get better forever. Have you noticed that it's always 5 years? Because you can't say 6 months, that's too soon. People remember you being wrong. And you can't say 10 years, because that's too far off into the future and people won't care. So it's always 5 years. Wait a second. From 3 to 8 years, that's 5 years. That's another way of saying 5 years. Okay. And then finally, the 4th one is, well, it works on my machine, which I hold in so much contempt, I'm not even going to elaborate on. So back in August 2025, I wrote a blog post with several different app ideas, and I tried to get several different models to build them, and they were all complete failures. And then I retried them in February of this year with newer models. Now, I'm very much an AI critic and skeptic, but I am making a good faith attempt to see what's possible. Here they are. First is a borderless African geography quiz. I wanted to learn where all the countries of Africa are, but Africa doesn't look like this. Africa looks like this. So I wanted to learn how to locate countries by land and water and geography without the added hints of all the artificial border lines. So I wanted the app to draw Africa without borders and then just ask me to click on a given country. And so here's the initial prompt I used, and it generated this. Yeah, it draws potatoes. Yeah, so Python has Tkinter can do vector drawings based on X, Y coordinates, and I made several of these with several different models and different prompts. The middle one was the only one that didn't draw a potato. It's also the only one that remembered that Madagascar is a part of Africa. Any Alaskans and Hawaiians in the audience can relate? Yeah? Okay, so yeah, I retried this in February, and they all failed again. I tried telling it, like, look online for an SVG image to just copy the coordinates from. It still failed. But one of the ones from February produced this. So yeah, that's Africa. The model was able to find an online source for the country and continent outlines. It was able to draw this. Now, this looks correct, but is it actually correct? Foreshadowing is a narrative device in which Okay, I'll cut to the chase. Here are the imports that are at the top of the program. Any of them stand out to you? Like, why does a geography quiz need to access the internet? So it turns out that the program downloads the map data from a public GitHub repo the first time it runs, and then it caches that information. So most users are never going to encounter this bug. It only happens if you run it and you're offline the first time you run it, which means that this bug is going to be really hard to find. But also, if that public GitHub repo ever goes away or goes private, this app stops working for all new users. Now, this is an easy bug to fix. You just embed the map data into the source code. Now, it's really obvious after looking at the source code for 5 minutes, but a vibe coder doesn't look at the code. To a vibe coder, this looks like this. Now, the next experiment I did was drawing a circular maze app. The models can all make like rectangular mazes, but I wanted something that was like kind of different. So I thought, hey, how about like a circular one? And so here's the initial prompt I used, and it produced this. Yeah, they're circular, all right. Not very maze-like, though. So I retried all of these in February, and they still all failed. But one of them eventually produced this after a few iterations. Now, this program looks like it works, but does it actually work? I don't know. I didn't look at the code. I just generated a few mazes with it and played around with it a bit, and it seems like it works. So hey, ship it. Next, a pinball game in Python with Tkinter, something like that old Windows pinball game, but with much simpler graphics. I wanted the gameplay, not the look. Here's the initial prompt I used, and then I had AI generate a prompt for it, and it was a lot more verbose and had more details. But the funny thing is, both of those prompts generated basically the same thing. The wordier, more specific prompt didn't actually change anything, and it's just easier to show you with a live demo. Oh. Start making little prayers. Here we go. Wait, what? No, don't move that. Okay. Python, pinball, final. Here we go. All right. Flippers work. Wouldn't it be funny if my live demo went badly and this worked perfectly? Anyway, okay, boom, hey. Oh, hey, wow. Yeah, well, I mean, that's pinball. I mean, pinball's kind of a, and, well, okay, well, yeah, that happens sometimes. Let's see, yeah, don't know what happened there. Yeah, the ball tends to go hypersonic sometimes, but because I had to do that because otherwise it wouldn't come out of the ball shooter lane. Yeah, I mean, kind of works. Yeah, this is fun, isn't it? We're having fun. Yeah, I mean, you know what pinball looks like. That looks 99% done, right? You just spend one more weekend on it, and you'll get it, and it's a pinball game. Here's the thing, though. Would you fly on an airplane that had 99% of its parts? I mean, this is not a rhetorical question, by the way. Okay. Next, I love lava lamps. No, seriously, I have a collection of lava lamps. I post to the lava lamp subreddit. I wanted to make a lava lamp simulator in Python. Here's the prompt that I used, and here's another live demo. Python lava lamp final 1, was it? Yeah. And there we go. Yeah, that's garbage. But here's the thing. Wait, where did my presentation go? Oh, computers were a mistake. There we go. Okay, now you're here, but I want you to be on. Of course. There we go. Okay, it's right there. And then I move the. Come here. ChatGPT, how do I move a window? There we go. Okay, but here's the thing. There's a secret magic word called metaball algorithm. And if you tell the model to use metaballs, then it will generate this. Metaball final, I think it was final, yeah. Final 2, okay, there we go. And then I slide this over here. Ooh. The thing is, if you don't say metaball, you won't get this. You have to know the name of the algorithm in order to produce this lava lamp simulator. But so that kind of seems like it's one of those, like, oh, well, you just didn't write the prompt correctly sorts of things. Here we go. No, and now it's happened again. Oh, this is my nightmare. And now suddenly it's the last day of school, and I haven't attended. Oh, yes, okay, there we go. There. There we go. And then it switched on me again, so that's fine. I move this here, and then I move this. Yes. So this seems like an example where, okay, if you didn't write the prompt correctly, you have to say metaball algorithm in there. But you know, actually I did write the prompt correctly. I described a lava lamp and how that works. It's up to the AI to do the technical implementation, right? The AI should know use metaball algorithms instead of that weird elliptical oval thing, right? The subtext behind this excuse is that the AI is permitted to be fallible, but the user is held liable for mistakes. When your boss tells you to let the AI make management decisions, always remember that it is you who will be held accountable for those decisions. Next, an interactive abacus. So when I tried these with the models in August, they all failed. And then when I tried to make them this year, they all worked. Success. I mean, well, like some of them, a couple of them worked anyway. There's a little bit of UI ugliness there, but I'm going to go ahead and count this as a success. And last one, a combination lock simulator. So you can use the mouse to drag around a dial and enter a combination for a combination lock. And if you enter the right combination, it should unlock. This completely failed last August, but in February, it also completely failed. But then I retried it this week, and it sort of worked. I could get it so that it would unlock when I enter the combination, but sometimes it would also unlock when I didn't enter the combination, and also some like valid moves invalidated the combination. It was kind of a mess. This was like the really tricky one. Ignore how ugly it looks, that's fine. I really tried to like mess with these some more, but it seems that the more I talked to it, it would also start changing random other things in the code that weren't wrong, but it was weird that it was touching those things. I don't know. So let's recap. Here we go. Yeah, so yeah, kind of, but not really, but kind of some of them, but I don't know. Maybe all of these problems will be magically solved in 5 years, or like maybe a little bit more than 5 years, like 6, 7. My point is that this isn't a rigorous benchmark that I'm doing, but it is an experiment that can be investigated. These claims that AI is making are things that you can try out. And when I mean like I don't mean like do your own research, like watching a YouTube video about it. I mean that you can try it out yourself with the free tiers of these large language model services. You just have to employ some rigor and a lot of skepticism. It helps to record things and write them down. I want to give a shout out to an old essay by Lynn Hunt titled "How Writing Leads to Thinking and Not the Other Way Around." We often don't really know what we think until we articulate it. Otherwise, we often don't think about our thoughts. They're just fleeting. They're just vibes. Now, when vibe coding works, it feels like magic. And AI companies want you to believe that this technology is effectively magic. What can AI do? What can AI do? AI can do anything. How does AI work? Because AI. But always remember, however, magic isn't real. I mean, just look at their terms of service. I didn't make this slide just as a joke. I actually copied this from an AI company's website. Wow, even if damages were foreseeable. Oof. Here's another one where they say that their AI is for entertainment purposes only. They're literally using the same disclaimer as phone psychics. Now, AI is useful. Nobody is saying AI has zero uses. I think most people would agree that AI doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough. We need to be really careful about what we accept as good enough, because the biggest thing that I took away from these experiments is that almost right is worse than wrong. Wrong can be detected. Wrong can be fixed. Almost right is often waved past, especially if almost right is cheaper and faster. Almost right can be rationalized, even though it's still wrong. So much of the point of computing is to extend human capability and reduce human effort, to make things easier, to automate the boring stuff. But a big part of making software is making trade-offs: reliability, convenience, cost, accessibility. And to make intelligent trade-offs, we need to obtain true information and not just accept easy answers. It takes a lot of work to understand software well enough to make things simple and easy. So is it worth it? Is there a point to understanding things? Yes, there is. Of course there is. Of course there is. No matter where AI takes us as an industry, always remember, of course there is. It's important to understand things. Thank you very much.
I will rapid fire through some of these. If you vibe code, do you vibe test?
You're absolutely right.
Did you vibe code your humor within your slides?
You're absolutely right.
What manual workarounds did you have to implement?
You're absolutely right.
Do you delegate generating test cases?
You're absolutely right.
Can you vibe code your way into learning code?
You're absolutely right.
How do you feel?
You're absolutely right.
How do you feel?
You're absolutely right.
Thank you.
Thank you.